open source looks like in my head not long ago. It was complicated. I had no clue how to get in, and I was feeling lonely and nearly had no idea how to get in it. But I heard so many people telling about, oh, open source is joy, makes you a better person. You can learn so many new things, and open source will just make your heart brighter and make your heartbeats go much better. What I mostly hearing about was that open source gets you passionate about what you are doing. So passionate that you even want to jump on these desks and put your arms in the air and say, wow, I'm doing open source. This is the impression I got from Aaron Patterson, Corey Haynes, and all the other famous guys in the Ruby community. I've seen their videos on Config. Thanks, Kobe, for recording all these awesome videos. But well, how should you get in open source? I was asking this question myself in Berlin. I was sitting one evening alone in my home with a big pile of delicious sauerkraut. You have to taste it if you're in Germany. Yeah, you really have to. Then with a bunch of sausages and my favorite black beer, Kostritzer Schwarzbier. Really delicious. And then I was some way browsing the internet, and on Twitter I found this tweet by this guy. Oh, sorry. Sven Fuchs. You maybe know him, he's the inventor of Travis CI. Travis CI is the continuous integration platform, which is free available. And he made a very interesting call about how to get into his open source life at Ruby OpenShift in Ukraine in 2011. And what he simply says was the following. Pick something you love, then work on it, and finally say what you achieved, what you learned, and talk about it. Write a blog post or go to a conference, talk about it. This was his simple formula how to get into open source. And I was asking myself, oh, is this really so simple? Because I had so many complaints about how to get into open source. And I say, well, just try it. I have nothing to lose. So at first, it was really like an odyssey. So I was knowing where I want to go, but I was not sure how and in which way. So there are endless ways you can go in open source. Maybe you take this line about, okay, I want to help people on ERC channel to help them with their problems. Or I want to update the documentation of this open source project. Or maybe just turn around, oh man, I want to do the most joyful, the most funniest job doing programming except for documentation or something like this, which we all hate. Or you could also help other people to learn programming, as Ash was explaining in her talk yesterday about how she trained a person to get into programming. These are all really awesome contributions. And what I have to say about the path, it is really very easy to find a path. All what you have to do is just start today. That's everything. Find something which excites you, which motivates you, and you're just passionate about it. And then just start working on it. So I was searching for a project I want to work on. So I was deeply involved in Vim and learning Markdown. Then Markdown, I need to see, okay, how would the Markdown document look like when it's converted to HTML. And I don't want it to open every time the console, the terminal. And then I just thought, okay, I'm using Vim. Hey man, for Vim, there's a plugin really for everything. So then I searched the internet and found this great plugin. It's called Hammer. Hammer, it's from the Hammer guys of the video game Super Mario. Bam, 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 bam. And there was a guy, Rob Gleason. He is a Rubinius committer, and I talked to him. Man, your plugin is so great, but you have so many open pull requests, issues in your documentation. Here you can see the grammar mistake is now corrected. I did it a couple of days ago. And I talked to him, okay, how can I help you? And he said, okay, Matthias, would be great if you can just follow in the pull request, the issues, look at them, answer the people, and update the documentation. And this is what I did. And after a couple of days, he said to me, oh, Matthias, I'm now so busy. Would you like to be the maintainer of this project? And I said, wow, now I'm a maintainer of an open source project. It was really an amazing feeling to get into this. So I found my path. I was now the maintainer of this project. Step number 1. Step number 2. The plugin was very complicated. It was written, of course, in Ruby. This is not a complicated step in it, but it was very complicated because he used a bunch of Vim script language. Vim script language is a language which mostly all plugins Vim are written. And I had no clue about it, how this works. It's really a cryptic language. And so what I did was I was seeking help by people who know about Vim script and how to work with it. And luckily I'm in Berlin. We have a Vim user group. And the Vim user group is consisting of these nice people. They are all very enthusiastic. Here we have Luca. He's an Italian guy who recently moved to Berlin. We are now best friends. Here's Sven Cooks, a very crazy guy. He knows so many amazing things. And behind here we have Andrew Radiers. And formally we even have the author of the practical Vim book, Drew Neal, in our user group. And he's also a very inspiring person. So what these guys did to me was they helped me with Vim, helped me to learn Vim script, and even motivated me to give small talks at the Vim Berlin user group. And now I am the co-founder of Vim Berlin. I'm helping organizing these two monthly events in Berlin. And I recently found out that there are only 2 Vim user groups in Europe. I don't know, I have a clue how many user groups are here in the United States of America. Okay, nobody knows this. Okay, so, okay, I was seeking help and I was feeling happy that there are people around me which would like to help me. And then I did the next thing I did was widen my circle, widen my network about the people who I interact and who I talk to with them. And then I apparently got to know Florian Günther, also on Twitter. I just pinged him, hey man, you're doing a conference in Berlin, that's awesome. Can I help you in some ways? And say, yeah, come on, you need every help we can. And that's how I get into organizing my first conference. And now I'm here visiting a conference. So I made the step the other way around. First organizing a conference, and then going to a conference. We did a lot of work. It was really a great weekend, like the weekend here in Kansas City. And I met a lot of great people there, a lot of interesting discussions, and I just got to learn new people. And it really widened my horizon, like this event here. So then I wanted to give back to the community. And I started to write a book about Padrino. Padrino is it's called the Elegant Ruby Web Framework. What it basically is, it is at the top, it is built at the top of Sinatra with a bunch of form helpers, action helpers, and so on. But in this framework, you can choose which components you want to use. And there are a small group of core committers, and I also mentioned them on Twitter, oh man, how can I help you? I'm really curious about this framework. I want to help you with the documentation. There is nearly no documentation. There are a bunch of blog posts on your page, but they are telling me, really, as a newbie about learning the framework, really nothing. And so I said, okay, you could write a bunch of blog posts about it, or maybe do something greater, something better, and why not just start to write a book about it? How to develop some applications in Padrino. And by the way, explain how the framework works, how to use the framework. And I even made some pull requests about it, enhancing the code, fixing bugs, and so on. Okay, these sound all very, very fine, but what I did to this time, I really got a conflict with my normal life and with my time. It was a really big problem. So I was maintainer of a plugin, organizing a conference, and writing a book. Like Ashley said in her talk, you have to maintain your work-life balance. So if this is a line of your work-life balance, and this is, normally your work should be on this line, and your life on this line, and then everything should be fine. But my life was below this line. I nearly had a laugh because I was so curious. I wanted to do open source, and so I had really time issues with my life. And besides just saying work-life balance, I would rather say work-life open source balance. Every one of us should have something like this. So doing open source, everyone should be doing open source. And we should just put this into our daily life, some kind of. And then I, as Evan mentioned perfectly in his talk, I got the problems with normal life that you're neglecting people, your relationship is maybe, oh, okay, I have to hack this evening, you can't go eating tonight or dancing or something like this. This is not very good for the people you love. And I was just wondering, okay, this happened to me, I wanted to do great things, but how was I feeling so bad about doing things I love? Because I had problems with my work-life open source balance. So I analyzed my problems. And the first problem I really had was focus. Focus. And focus is like, today we are all constantly bombarded with a wave of emails, informations, tweets, Facebook messages, calls, all the holy crap. This all distracts us from doing what we really want. And what can you do to maintain your focus? And even yesterday, when I was sitting on this table, there were Andrew sitting now. Every time I was receiving some push notifications, smartphones vibrating, and oh man, I just want to listen to the talk here and concentrate fully on it. And it was just reminding me, okay, how difficult it is to maintain your focus. So, what kind of interruptions can you have in your life? First of all, there are internal interruptions. Internal interruptions are like, oh man, I'm hungry, I'm now hungry, currently I'm working and I want to eat something. I must say that I'm chocolate addicted, so I love chocolate very much. And there's a special food in Germany called Centi Knusperflocken. It's like chocolate filled with crisp bread. It's really delicious. So if you're in Germany, you have to try it. It's very tasteful. So, okay, these are internal interruptions are part of yourself. And what you can do to tame your internal interruption, it's just when you're feeling that the internal interruptions are overwhelming you, just say, stop, no, I don't want to do it. So if you are doing a programming session, solving a bug or something like that, then, and for myself, I have the urge, oh man, I have to think more, I have to eat, blah, 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 blah. Then just throw your chocolate out of the window, or just give your chocolate your co-workers or something like that. They really appreciate to have food. So there are internal interruptions. But these are really, really easy to tame because you have to explore yourself, see how you're working, and so on. These are really with a lot of time. With time, you can tame them. Next issue. These are the most bad interruptions. Sometimes when you're in your office and your CTO or some marketing people just run into your office, wall in like a tank, destroying everything what you're working on, swiping you off your contacts you are currently working on. They totally shift you out of what you currently want to do. And these external interruptions are nearly things you can't handle. They appear out of nowhere. So from now to even now, maybe a fire alarm can ring, and these are external interruptions. I can't do anything about it. But if you're in an office and see a bunch of people coming into your room and say, oh, here, Matthias, I have some problems with this database query, or why our website isn't working, oh, sorry, I deployed something, or something like this, then and if you are currently working on another task, just say, okay, I will take care of this problem, but only later. But I know that there's a problem, so that you can work on the things you want to do, and without saying, oh no, I'm now jumping to the next fire I have to fight. And one way to maintain focus is the Pomodoro technique. Then the second problem I had, as mentioned, a time problem. We all want to do great, awesome things, or just the most important things in our life, like planting a tree, or developing a new programming language, writing an API, all the great things you want to do in your life, needs time. And you also need time in your life to reflect what you were doing, where you are, who you are, if you're going in the right direction, if you're really yourself, is it good what you are doing? And this needs time. And a similar issue had Francesco. This is Francesco, a very nice, handsome Italian guy. I met him in Berlin, and he showed me the Pomodoro technique. And he came to the Pomodoro technique in the 19th. He was a student and nearly as dissatisfied with his life as I was. He was asking himself, okay, I'm studying, I'm writing exams, I'm doing this and that, but I really don't have the feeling that I did anything at the end of the day. He was really frustrated with his life. And so what he did was asking himself a very simple question. And the question was, can I work for myself on this single task without any interruptions? And because he wanted not to spend the whole day on the task, he said, okay, and I have to find something, how can I track my time? And he was in the kitchen or something like that, or he just saw the kitchen timer, and then he said, okay, then I will just try to work for a certain amount of time on this task. And this is how the Pomodoro technique was invented by this guy. So, what are the basic steps of the Pomodoro technique? The basic steps of the Pomodoro technique are you choose a single task you want to work on, just small working packages. You can split in which size wherever you would like to, but you have to try to split them in the size that you are maybe able to solve them in 25 minutes. It is also possible to take more than one Pomodoro for a task, but in the beginning it's not so important to do this. So choose a task, then put your kitchen timer to 25 minutes. Time is running, you're in working mode, you have to work. So tame your internal and external disruptions. And then, most importantly, work on the task until you can hear the ring. And when you can hear the ringing sound of the kitchen timer, then comes the most important step. You have a 5-minute break. And that's really awesome, because when you're working constantly on a single task, your minds get just focused, single-minded, and you don't have a clue where you're going, and you're losing endless times. Like if you're, oh man, I want to install this database on Mac, and I have so many issues installing it, and oh man, I have to search the internet, didn't find anything, and you're searching until you have the solution. But most often it's better to have breaks doing such tasks. And that's why take a 5-minute break after one Pomodoro, and then just relax, get you a cup of coffee, walk around, make some sports, move your body, be a healthy programmer, something like that. Something like that. So, the most important tool of the Pomodoro technique I already mentioned is the kitchen timer. You can take whatever you would like to, there are even software-based solutions, but I prefer the physical one, because here you can hear the ticking sound. And the ticking sound is like, okay, it trains it trains my brain to see, okay, now I'm on a Pomodoro. I'm working right now. I wanted to be focused, time boxed, and do as much as I can during this time. And so the kitchen timer is just like the Pavlov dog. So you all know what the Pavlov experiment is? Pavlov, sorry, yeah. Okay. And that's just like, okay, I'm hearing now the song of the Pomodoro, and like, oh, great, now I have to work, I have to focus myself. And that is very strange in the beginning if you're doing it, but once you get used to it, you will feel that something is changing in your mind. You sharpen your mind. Okay, next, I've already talked about it. We all need breaks. Yeah, maybe some of you, okay, who of you want to say, where have you taken this picture? In which state of the United States? Exactly. Yeah, I just love this picture, so I have to take it into this presentation. Yeah. Okay, so breaks are important. You really need breaks to reflect what you are doing, to see if you're on the right track, to find new ways to explore things, to maybe even if you're in your breaks, if you're if you're at work, take some time to talk to people about how you're working. Time for a code review, or just walk around, talk to people of the service department or your marketing people, or just open the browser and surf Twitter and Facebook. And rest are important in our life. And we are doing, when I was in the situation of doing these three things, my book, or the conference, and the plugin, I was nearly, didn't have any breaks. And it was really, it's killing you. It's killing you. You have to take breaks. And again, the solution for this problem is the Pomodoro Technique. The third problem I had when doing open source was I was feeling separated, lonely from the community. So I really wanted to be able to connect to people, to work with people together, and it was very difficult for me to do this. But it was just something in my mind that said, oh, you're lonely, you're working on your own. It's not the case. It's very easy to get to know other people. And when I was going to this conference, I was asking for a place to stay for the first couple of days. So I wrote a tweet about it. Oh man, is there maybe some place where I can stay? And then Dusty, some of our organizers, was so kind. There he is, Dusty. Hey. He was even so kind to pick me up from the airport and provided me a really warm welcome here in this town. And I was nearly losing some tears for it, because it was so great. Now I was going to learn, oh, open source is great, awesome, fun, I can learn many things. It really opened my heart. But beside of this, okay, you're getting something back, but it's also very important to give something back to the open source community. And that's why it's also very important to receive saying, oh man, I fixed something for you, like here, made to pull request way, that's great. And then somebody else say, oh man, thanks for all your contributions, you're great. This is a feeling I think everybody of us who did some open source already know what it is. It's the best feeling you can have. Okay, and Ash, here's your heart, as promised. So you have to give something back to the community. I love making cake, and I love Wim, and that's why every time we have our meeting in Berlin, I'm making a cake for the persons. So I enjoy it, and when I'm not able to come to the meetup and say, oh Matthias, we're missing you, we have no cake, we're hungry. And giving something back is important. It makes you makes you in the eyes of your community a better person, and because you're also, I received a lot of help from the Vim script, from the Vim learning user group. And so I just wanted to give something back. And what I think of the people who are, programmers are always hungry, I don't know why. And so my idea was just make a cake, and they appreciate it. Okay, so now you can see in my eyes open source is not complicated like this. It is not a calculated formula with no place, you know where you have to go. It's not like this. It is more like this. It's like a simple, very simple formula. But you have to know the components of this formula. And once you get to know this formula, you know what to do. And what you have to do to work better in open source is you have to focus yourself. You have to value your time you have, because value is the most important thing in our life. You have to find interesting challenges you want to face. And most importantly, you have to be passionate about what you are doing. So I read the book about The Passionate Programmer by Chad Fowler. If you haven't read this book, just when this conference is over, go to the bookstore and buy this book, because it's so awesome. It's really awesome. And for all these problems, the Pomodoro Technique is, in my eyes, the perfect wrapper, because it's that simple. Yeah, just choose a task, put on your kitchen timer, work on it, then after the kitchen timer rings, have your break. That's all you have to do. And even in our busy time, where we have a full-time job, children, we are helping a user group, organizing conferences, there's still something negative, something bad in our heads saying, "Oh man, I should do more open source." But well, it's even perfect if you are doing just one Pomodoro per day for open source work. It will save your soul if you love open source. And so I have one challenge for you. When you go home this evening and the conference is over, just grab one task, put on the kitchen timer for 25 minutes, or your watch or your iPhone or whatever, and then work on it until it's over. And at the end of the 25 minutes, I will promise you will be surprised for the results.